Hello?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ryan. We are getting started. Thank you for making it today. Let me make sure I silence my phone, my watch, my pager, my beeper. You guys could do the same.
I don't want to do that with the pager.
Yeah, your pager, John, keeps going off in class. We have a lot to go over today. So this is going to be complete CMA process. We're going to start out, very, very basic, generic, getting all the way into some new advanced techniques and some features and stuff that we've built out. For those of you that are on Zoom, unfortunately, you don't have the paper copies yet, but I will share with you some of the new designs, new stuff some things that we've been working on. McKenna and Tony have been working on this for quite a while. So we have a new listing guide, and it's a complete kind of step-by-step. Let me share my screen so I will show you guys. See if you guys can see this okay. Oops. So you can see here, whole new listing guide. It's great stuff for pre-listing, exactly what to do. Now, before we get started, how many people do a one-step listing process or a two-step? And I don't mean how many steps into the house. A two, a two, two, two.
Yeah.
Nobody does a one and done? Not normally.
I mean, I come prepared for it, but I have the forms, listing forms.
Listing agreement, everything
Yeah.
ready, at least
Yeah.
filled in. That's good. You definitely should. There's been plenty of occasions when you think that you're totally got a chance to do a two-step, but if you don't communicate that to the client clearly, you could be making that mistake. I've seen it in my own career, and I know that it happens all the time. If brokers just don't communicate to the client that you would like to first come to the home to see it, right? Assess the property, give them clear, concise directions on what to do to prepare the home, for sale. And then also, just to see what they've done since they bought it. So it's a fantastic idea to make sure that you get that clearly set up from the get-go. You just want to make certain that what's going to happen. This is a pre-listing. So of course the seller guide, agency law, lead-based paint, wire fraud, all your basics, the listing presentation, actions for sellers, right? Get 2 sets of keys, one for each key box, install a contractor box, super box, put both sets of keys in box, and then note box code and CRM notes. But then here's a breakdown of everything that you may need for the listing, right? For all the forms, client paperwork for completion, right? Details tabs, your forms, input into Northwest MLS, upload your supplement. So it's really a complete breakdown. Coordinate lead times to confirm days and times for your vendors. So this is a really cool breakdown of really good ideas and things, a complete kind of like set of what to do. And then of course, when it gets active.
The only thing missing I see on the forms, and it's relatively rare, if not unheard of, is a well addendum. In addition to the septic.
That's a good one. Yep. If it's on well, so I'll have her add that one. Thanks, John. So then it goes literally from mutual to contract to close activities. It breaks down in the same day or next day. And then inspections, negotiation phase, pending close phase, 3 to 5 day pre-close date, the post listing, what to do after it closes, listing, marketing campaign, So everything about what to do for your marketing, 5 to 10 days prior to list date, how to schedule everything, all the way to post-close sequence. So really cool kind of breakdown of instruction. You know, a lot of times people miss things, and this is just one of those great ways. So just things don't get missed. All right. Let me start things off. Share my screen again. Gonna have to go do this quite a bit today. We're gonna be stopping and sharing back and forth. So let me hide this darn thing. Okay, so first thing first, from the get-go, from when it's time for listings, the first thing you really have to do, and you need to do this early, is preliminary title. You've gotta get that ordered and done. The fastest way, I seriously love this Access Home closing tool. Just from your My Desk right away, you can click in here and you can open up your preliminary title right from here, and it all comes back into here. Because you know how many emails we get, you know, getting hundreds of emails every single day. It makes it kind of hard to keep track, but it's nice to be able to get it in here. So all you got to do is go to order reports, and you could do it by property address or parcel number, put it in. Right. Or actually, I'll do the address. Do Bill Gates stuff. So I do have a property. I'm actually a real one. It's going to be for an estate sale for family friends. So I'm gonna, actually, I already have this one in, but I'm just showing you guys the process. Okay, and then it is Federal Way. Put in a zip. Okay, enter everything. Anything else you'd like us to know? You put in anything in here, like this one would be in an estate, hit next, and then you submit. That's it. Basically, what happens then is it comes back and then it'll show up into your listing dashboard. So everything will be in here. And the 32902. So then all your items would be right in here. So you'd be able to go straight here, get your legal, get your preliminary title, you'd be able to download them. So does anybody else use this thing?
I don't use that one. I usually work directly with Stuart for mine. But the other thing I'll do either concurrently or before ordering preliminary is I'll get the listing trio. Because that be an additional verification is realist, and it'll also give me the schools.
Yep, no, that's good too. So anyway, it's got to be done first. Like, don't waste time. If you ended up listing a property that person who, you know, is basically signing all this paperwork and they don't have authority to sell it, now that could put you into trouble, right? You get that on the market, which we've got a deal right here this year. We've already had this happen not from one of our brokers as a listing, but another broker listed a property, had someone sign it, and then there's a wife that they're in a divorce and a legal battle, and totally listed it, didn't get permission, and they got a deal on it with us. So it was a huge mess. John?
One thing, I had one contentious listing where I had three parties on it. I had husband and wife who were being in the middle of a divorce. The divorce was not finished, of course. And one set of their parents was also on title. So you can imagine the joyful thing this was. What I did to defuse and to make this thing go forward is I had a really good relationship with one of the senior title reps at Stewart. So I had her accompany me on the listing presentation because she could really play Switzerland, and it just kind of solidified in my mind, in their mind, that we kind of knew what we were doing, that we had a process, that we weren't going to sign with one party or another, but here are the responsibilities that everyone had. And that just set a really good stage for everything, and built up title and built us up is being real professionals in the industry.
Yeah, it's extremely critical. It has to be done. And it's something that you should do right from the beginning. If your title company's charging you for these because you don't end up, getting the listing or it never, or you never do anything with it and they're charging you, get a different company. This is just part of your job. You have to do this. First thing you're going to look at is who is the person, right? Who does it state is the seller? If you're dealing with anybody different than what it says there, or there's more than one name, right away, you've got some red flags and things to figure out. This is just the process in which you have to work.
Some companies will give you a red flag report at the end of preliminary,
Yep.
which gives you a heads up for potential problems.
Yeah, these guys will call you if they see anything. They're going to go ahead and call you and say, hey, just let you know that everything looked clear or whatever. Or they'll say, hey, this one looks a little bit fishy. Looks like they did some sort of owner contract. I've had that one too in here. So it's just the process, right? So you're gonna have to just do it this way no matter what. Okay. So now that you know you've got the right person, what do you do next? Well, probably should jump into Northwest MLS and go ahead and do a search for that property. Let me move that darn thing. So do a search, single family general, and I usually just put in just the house number, right? 32902. That's 33rd. And go 33 first, and then watch in that bottom left corner for matches, because sometimes listing brokers don't enter things correctly. Put 33rd. Oh, and there's still nothing. All right. So it's been a long time since this one's been listed. So not a problem. Now you're jumping to realist. Okay. You can do quick from the search by address, right from the top right corner, or you can go to the old school way and go to search. Either way is fine. It does the exact same thing. So let it find it, go away, and search. Okay, pulls up the property address, shows the single, the one person's name, shows how it's vested. We've got a good breakdown of this information. I usually print this out right away. Another thing I usually will scan and look at is, the legal description. Why would I go straight to the legal description and kind of look too? Anybody know why?
We've already got the preliminary.
Maybe. I just submitted it.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you in on a secret. If it says condominium in here, then I know that this property is condominiumized and I'm gonna have to do a lot more work.
Yeah.
Because how many times you guys see these single family homes and it's a condo?
Yep. There's an entire section in Lakeland Hills over on Elizabeth Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, there's tons of places like that. So I always kind of peek right here. Another thing we can do is definitely look at what's it say for taxes. Good idea to know. Basically, I will print this out, and if there was an old listing, okay, I would print that one out too. And I would take that most recent last listing, because that's probably obviously from the last time the owner bought it. So I would bring both of those with me to the appointment.
The other thing that's useful about taxes is you'll need that for your estimated net proceeds, but you can also tell if they've got a senior exemption.
Yeah. So I can see when he bought it. Okay, the recording date was 2006, which kind of crazy that the listing didn't come up. So maybe he bought it differently. I don't know. Might have bought it directly. Here's the sellers. Here's the warranty deed. There's the document So you can actually pull the document to see the actual document in the county records if you wanted. Good idea to take a look at this section too. We want to see like how many loans potentially. So we know we bought it in 2006. Looks like 228,000 was the loan. Here's who the loan was with. But then in a year later, refinanced. Rates definitely dropped way back then in 07. That was, definitely a crash of market. So it shows that he took another loan, and it looks like in here refinanced again with Wells Fargo in 2010. So this particular case, it's an estate sale. So my questioning is going to be, looks like there's probably still a loan on it. 14 years they didn't pay it off. I doubt it, unless he had a 15-year loan. Maybe, so it could be close. So it's like, is there still a mortgage on there? So that's something that definitely the personal representative, some questions I'm gonna have for them. Okay. You can go and look at all the comparable stuff, market trends, all these other things is okay. Really depends on the property and the process of what, really you're looking at. But I would print this. I'm going to bring it with.
Eric, one other thing.
And also, again, bringing out the
check on flood map.
Yeah. Yep. And you can look at flood map and it'll show it.
Now, what can be critical about that is obviously the obvious thing, but also FEMA at one point thought they were going to be an endangered species. So what an endangered species tends to do is to make itself as relevant as possible. So they reclassified a bunch of homes which had not previously been with flood zone when the owner bought them. So that's something you have to know before you go into it and put it on the market and get to use it, because that can be an interesting little thing to reverse.
Okay, got to continue. You also can click into the tax ID hyperlink directly that will go to the county. So this is something that, is a good idea to look at also. You can actually see image of the property, right? Kind of takes a look the last time they assessed it. You can scroll down, take a look at the history for all of the tax stuff. And then property detail is a good one. So click on this tab and now you can see a breakdown of kind of exact same stuff you see in Realist, but it's a little bit more broken out. And then you can see a sketch of the property too, which is kind of nice. Now, if the property's on septic or on a well, and you're gonna have to try to get, any of that information too. Online RME is definitely where you would start. So that website again is or actually do it this way. I love this. Go to Google and just do online RME like that. Hit enter. And it's usually this very first one. So you can go to this and it actually jumps you to the public access. It's really fast rather than, because it's weird using this hyperlink. I don't know why, but sometimes it like makes you go to sign up and all this other stuff. It's weird. But from here, you can go in and pull up the county. Okay. And you can go for site address or tax ID. You can put it in and then submit the search, and it'll actually have all of any of the records for your septic stuff.
Well, I had no idea that, Eric. I'd always gone directly to the county and futzed around there.
Yeah, this thing's like gold.
Yeah.
Really, really gold.
Where is it?
Online RME. But you Google it. It will take you, the very first link is the one that takes you into the program. It's kind of funny. But this one is fantastic. Properties on septic, you definitely want to use this because then you can print out and see all of the history that's for the property. Did you find it, Tony? Not yet.
Right.
Online,
Yeah,
RME.
I use it, pretty good.
Yeah. You definitely will use that website. I've been using that thing for probably 20 years more. Okay, you've got your stuff. We bought our info. It's time to kind of go to the property. I'm gonna share. Let me see if I can show this one now. Can you guys see that? Zoom people? Do you see the pre-listing interview?
Where are yours?
They're there.
I can see King County Department of Assessments.
Okay, so you cannot see the pre-listing. Okay, I gotta stop share and share. So sorry. Okay, so you guys should see this. So this is a cool thing you should bring with you or send it before you get out there. And it's a really good form to kind of break the ice with the seller and really start the process of getting the information. And it's cool, to have them fill something out like this. You could, kind of like solidify that relationship that, hey, I'm going to be listing this property. I need a lot of information. When people kind of do this, they fill it out and they're like, oh, that's kind of a lot of stuff. They're like, I don't want to have to do this again. Sometimes they're just ready just to work with you. And you already know that. If you're the first person to the lead, you have a 70 to 74% win ratio, just being the first. So you really want to get there, right? So having this pre-listing interview little mini packet is fantastic. You guys should have that on your desk as well. But it's got the name, property address, mailing address, in case it's different, owners, decision makers. Why is that important?
If you have parties or owners that aren't there.
Yeah, you want to make sure all the decision makers are there when you're presenting, when you're going through the process. If they're not there, you're not building the relationship and they could make a different decision and not use you. So you want to make sure everyone is there. Phone numbers, emails, why are you selling? When do you need to move? Could you describe your house for me? Beds, bath, square footage. How long have you owned the property? What sold you on your home when you bought it? What features did you like? Great questions like this is how you will build your marketing. When you're making your marketing pieces for the property, your marketing remarks, it's a good idea to kind of use some of the same things the seller talked about as their favorite things about what they loved about the property. Because there's also a really good chance that someone's going to love the same qualities. And it shows that you paid attention, right, to them. I'll never forget, I had this seller and she described her master bedroom. She said, this master bedroom will not quit. It is amazing. Or she just had this that's how she described it to me. So I was like, that's unique. But then when I saw the property, it had a really cool sitting room off of the master, the primary.
Yeah.
Kicking it old school, they even use the old wording. But she just said, and it had a really cool ensuite and it had a giant walk-in closet. It felt like its own little mini house. The way that it was, you want to mute that, please? It was really cool, and I was like, that was a unique way to describe it. So I used that in the marketing, and the seller was just over the moon about it. She was like, oh my gosh, I love the marketing remarks. It's perfect. And she was telling all of her friends. She kept it it was like such a good experience. And I got 2 referrals from her, like in the first month, because of just that marketing remarks thing I took. But I took it really from, taking it from a sheet like this about asking them questions like that. So it's really important to kind of use those little things that will make a difference in what you do later. Okay, have you done any updating to the property since you bought it? If they say yes here, it's gonna be, if so, or permits pulled,
Yeah.
probably gonna have to get that added in here. If you were to stay in your house another 5 years, is there anything you would do to it? For a moment, pretend to be a buyer, look at your home through buyer eyes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its condition? Model home is a 10, poor condition is a 1. So what would it take for your house to be a 10? So kind of asking those questions to give you a good idea of maybe you can bring market in or market ready plus into the process. Things that might need to be done. How much are you thinking of asking for the property? Why is that important? Yeah, you want to know their expectations of what they really, know about the market. Well, Zillow says, right? They will say that. Have you had a recent appraisal? Have you recently refinanced? I mean, some of these questions, we obviously already know the answer from pulling the information from realists, but you need to really know what they know. Do you own the property free and clear? Do you have a loan? Happen to know the approximate balance, current on payments? What are the 3 things you're looking for in a realtor? Are you interviewing any other realtors for this job? When are they being interviewed? That's a good thing to know, right? Is anyone even asking that, or are they too afraid to?
I'm not afraid to. I don't want to set the stage for them to get the idea to interview other realtors. But most of mine is repeat referral emails.
I love this one. Have you sold a property before? That's a good thing to know. They're a first-time home seller. It's a little bit different. You tend to have to really go over the process a little bit more in depth than you would with someone who's sold a home a few times. Have you considered selling to an institutional investor, iBuyer, optional question, right? Is there anything else I should know about your property? Help me prepare for our meeting. Do you have any questions for me? Explain what happens next. 1 visit, 2 visits, pre-listing packet. Set appointment for the day, time, and place. Thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you. If it's all right, I'll call whoever. Thank them for referring me if there's a referral. So it's something else to kind of remind you about going back to that referral person. So we do have those as well. Go share again, get back to all right. All right, we've got our info. It's time to get to the house, right? We've done the interviews, we've had the information filled out. First thing you probably need to do is jump into transaction desk and then go ahead and fill and set up a transaction for a listing. And then have your 1A and your law of agency pamphlet with you. Have at least those items. Because you never know if that client is all ready. Sometimes people, they call and they're like, their expectations are they're listing next week. You don't even know that. So it's always better to be prepared than not have that with you. Because you can literally go to the appointment, do the process, walk through it all, and say, you're getting down to the part of, what questions do you have? And at that moment, really what I would do is take out your 1A, your listing agreement, say, I have everything already prepared to at least, sign today if you are ready to even sign today, because I'm ready. By you just being ready, sometimes people are like, yeah, let's go. They're ready. Why would you wait? You have 90 days to do the full process of preparing the home, getting your marketing ready, getting everything done, getting everything scheduled, doing all the other extra work. You could, there's no price on the 1A, right? They did that, they have that for a reason.
Yeah.
You may not have even established that price yet.
Pretty much a 17 there. Would you do that then already?
It depends on the seller, on the process of what's going on. for this particular one, obviously there won't be one. It's an estate sale. They're gonna be exempt. But you can ask the seller at that point, hey, do you prefer a paper version of the seller disclosure statement? Have that with you. Just have it ready. Would you rather fill this in here on your own? Or would you like me to send it to you digitally so that you can just check the boxes and type in the form?
I never send it digitally
Yeah.
because number one, there's some tricky questions on it. Number two, I will tell you that 98% of the agents are really, really sloppy or negligent when it comes to saying yes on a starred item
Yeah.
and then not going through the more detailed.
Yeah,
explanation.
you knew to explain. We just had the Form 17 forms class just last week. So yeah, we definitely, you got to be on that, and that's a part of the process. But all right, so you're going to the property. Before you go inside that house, I want you to take your phone out and I want you to shoot a landscape photo of the front of the house of exactly what it looks like. And the reason you're going to use that is because we're going to use that same photo in our cloud CMA later. It is the most recent, photo of the property. Now, some people take the old photo from the listing, or they take it from Google Maps, and you can do a screenshot from the, street view, right? That's probably 2 years old, about. Anything from satellite and from Google Street View is usually in there, unless you're downtown Seattle, then it might be within a year or 6 months. But you can do that, but it's actually kind of really cool process for the seller when they actually get the cloud CMA to see their home, very, very recent photo, and they know that you took it, right, from right then, because it's exactly how the house looks. So I did that with mine, and I'll show you guys that. The one thing though, make sure is that when you do send the photo to yourself, so from your phone after you take it, send it to yourself. You know how I know for sure iPhone asks, oh, what size photo do you want? You want the small, extra small, medium, or normal or large, Do not send large. There's a 5 megabyte max capacity for cloud CMA for the photo if you're uploading it. So you don't want to do that. So make sure, you take that photo and then you've got that ready. It looks so much better than just the overhead map view on the front of cloud CMA. It's way better. I mean, literally, you're looking at the difference of, just that map overhead or, an actual photo.
And that's a real good one. If there are a bunch of cars and the landscaping looks like sold.
It is what it is.
Then I do the cloud overhead.
No, I take it at whatever that house looks like. I want them to know that this report is detailed to whatever that property's condition is too, right? So it is what it is. I don't even worry if there's a car in the driveway for that one. Cause they know oh shoot, he must have took a photo, she must have took a photo of the house before before coming in or leaving or something. So they're gonna recognize their home. And that's gonna stand out too from the competition when someone else shows up with, if there is competition, and I got their one line CMA and you got your full cloud CMA you took the time to take a photo. Who else has to take a photo when they're assessing properties? What? Appraisers. Yeah. Appraisers do that same thing. You see how you just set yourself above, right? Everyone else who doesn't do something like that, just one tiny little step. So do this. It'll make a difference. All right. You're going in through the property with the seller, right? We're doing this. We're talking about the 2-step. So it's time to walk and talk, right? Go through, assess the property. There are, let's see, in my desk, if we go to the John Scott Library, let's see if they still have this because they've been actually cleaning old stuff out. So let me see if they actually have one of the old. Let's see. Single words work better than the whole thing. So let's see, preparing the home for sale. Let's see. And there's a seller guide talking points. That's not it. I think it's on this one. This is your actual talking points for how do you talk to the seller when you're presenting the actual guide. That is not it. It doesn't look like it's in there anymore.
What are you looking for when you do the walkthrough?
Yep, there's a home checklist. It might be under that. But it's literally a checklist when you walk through the house of what things look like. I am not seeing it. They might have pulled it. I'll get that out to you guys.
Eric, when I do mine, what I usually do is I'll print out the realist and I'll grab a couple of colored sheets out of the workroom. I'll bind it so I've got a hard surface to write on or a harder surface to write on. And then I'll do a detailed brief description on each individual room and its features. That's real helpful. And then I go over that, make sure I can read my own handwriting, but I also go over it with the sellers to make sure that I have the listing key features with each room.
Yeah, it's literally when you got the old listing, you've got the real list, you got to have a page, place to make notes.
Yeah.
You've got to go through and like what needs to be done so that you don't forget also, to give yourself a recap. I know one broker like does a memo for themselves. I remember they used to just record it on their iPhone, just a memo like roof needs cleaning, southwest corner might need attention from roofer to be inspect, it's like a thing like that. And then obviously with AI note takers too, there's things you can do to actually, you could have that thing on the whole time as you're talking and walking with the seller, and that will take notes and it'll condense it all and give a breakdown. So there's things you can do like that as well. That's way more advanced.
And one question I always ask is I check on the hot water heater to make sure it's double strapped. I check for carbon monoxide. I know what the municipal code is. I check for not just the presence of smoke detectors, but I ask
CO2
the age of the smoke.
Yeah. Gotta have straps. Yeah, if there's any stairs or steps that don't have handrails, that's things that's gonna get called out by the appraiser. And then it's more or less, it's like, what's the condition of the property itself anyway? It's, you're gonna have to assess the property and really go over like what needs to be done, what should be done, what has to be done. And then let the seller, start deciding like, is this something that they're willing to put money into? And if they're like, yeah, no, we really don't want to do this, then I would absolutely start talking about, okay, we do have a program called Market Ready Plus. You can actually, your main qualifier is the home equity, but it is, credit based also. And, you have to have a score of, is it 650 and up or 600, 620? Is it 650 and up? So there's, a qualifier that, for that, but it is a great program for 60 days interest free. They'll pay the contractors directly and then you pay that off, when the home sells. So it is a good program. And if you don't mention it, you might miss out. We had a broker just a little while back, actually totally forgot to talk about it. And here they were having conversations about things that need to be done with the home. And right when he was leaving, he was like, oh, and he remembered. He was like, oh, I totally forgot. We have this program, and then made the explanation. And literally the next day they called and said, hey, yeah, we want to go with you. We interviewed 2 others and neither of them had that program. So he got the listing from the Market Ready Plus.
Yeah.
So that's something that you got to mention.
Yeah. I'll go through that briefly during the phase 1 of the walkthrough.
Yeah.
But I'll go much more in depth when I actually have the CMA when we compare it to what we're competing against.
Yep. Okay, so you've done all this stuff. We've walked through, we had the conversations. We got to get back and start now, right? You've had the conversations. What's going to happen? If the seller's ready, you can present and give the 1A, give the Form 17, give the 22J if the house was built prior to 1978. Do not forget the pamphlets, right? You've got to give the pamphlets by law. So make sure, that the seller gets both of those. If you can deliver them, you may want to have them do an initial and then use your phone and you can actually scan, you can use notes to do that. My favorite, all-time favorite is still Turbo Scan. It's an app that costs money. It's like $4 and you own it forever. There's no monthly or yearly fees, but Turbo Scan is a really, really good one to where it'll scan it and you can change it directly into a PDF and then you can send it right from there and it'll actually automate the process and make it, it'll make it into the item you want, and then you can next, and then you can forward it, and you literally can email it to myself, email as a PDF to anybody, email as a JPEG, open it into Google Notes, share directly to OneDrive, put it to photos, send it in a message. You can turbo fax it. So if you get the app for turbo fax, that one you pay for every time you only fax. Which is really awesome feature, and then you can print it. It has a lot of different things, that makes it just simple and fast.
You want to hear my low-tech solution better?
Probably don't have time. We got to keep
I
going.
just make a photostat
Or that.
and then just have them initial the photostat in addition to the package.
So either way, just make sure you got copies of that. If you're giving it, already to them, and don't forget, if you have someone sign something and you take that one page away, you have to give copies of whatever they signed. So print 2 copies of those documents, okay? So if you're doing it in the field, have 2. Okay, it's time to get back to the lab. You've seen the house, you assessed the property, given the seller all of the things that should be done, need to be done. Now you guys have got a plan. And now it's time for you to get back in the lab and now let's start finding comparables, right? We are going to go ahead and jump into Matrix. And I actually love to start out. And first thing I do is make sure all the sale types are selected. I want to make sure that off-market sales are going to show up right away. So first thing I do is I'm not marking any status. I'm not filling in anything else here. I do need to clear this address. Okay. And I'm actually jumping to the map. And right here, they have a box that says jump to an address. And from here, I'm going to jump straight to the property. So 32902 33rd Avenue, Southwest, Federal Way, Washington, 98023. You see that? And I'm going to hit enter, and it actually takes me right to where that property is. Okay. Now it shows all these bubbles because it's showing thousands. There's 5,000 plus listings, right, in this search because I didn't define it. But I'm going to zoom in and I want to see what right around it has sold. When was it? Right? That's probably an old listing, obviously. But it's cool to see all these other properties. So sometimes you can find some good comps that might have happened a long time ago. And you might have to do some different things to get that value. But I want to do this to at least see what happened right in the exact same neighborhood. An appraiser taught me this. He showed me how to do this years ago. So it's kind of like the fastest immediate way to see those old past sales and everything like that. Okay, so now we need to start defining things. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do active, contingent, pending backup, pending feasibility. I'm doing everything from sold, and I'm going to keep it to defaults for the 180 days. Now I'm jumping right back to the map tab. And now I can see the properties that are actually close. The thing about appraisals and appraisers, they're going to go 6 months back, right? They want to see 6 months, back, and 1 mile radius is kind of the max of what they want to go. If you're dealing with a condo, they're going to start with that condo building. They're only going to look at the sales in that actual building first. So you really got to start looking and defining that building. And after there's not as many, properties and stuff, if there's not enough comps in there from that point, then they'll, go away from that actual building itself. But they need to get the comparables from that property. So I can go ahead, draw a radius from this. Okay. And I can already see that this is, right, 1/2 mile. So 1/2 mile radius, and there's quite a bit of properties in that already. But now let's see what it matches to the criteria. So we have a 4-bed, 2-bath, and it is 1,560 square feet. So we want to see 4 bedrooms. I would go 1 to 2 in the baths.
You want to do 4 or 4 plus?
I'm going to do 4 straight up first.
Okay.
Lot size in this area, this is an 8,000 square foot lot. A lot of these lot sizes are very similar in this neighborhood. So I'm not going to really define that unless I had to. And it does have a 2-car garage. Square footage, I will do a range. So 1,560. So I'll do 1,400 to 17. Actually, let's just do 1,800 to see what's around it. Now there's 4. I'll go ahead and look at the results.
What about
And see.
age of the home, Rick?
Not yet. I want to see what's around. Cool thing is a lot of times neighborhoods are going to have, neighborhoods are going to be fairly close in range to the same year built. You're going to get to areas or spots or locations in communities where it's next to other stuff where there is newer. And you always want to go apples to apples. If it's a Rambler, try to find every single comp you can that is a Rambler. If it's a split level, you got to get split levels. 2-story, do the same. You want to make sure you're trying to find exactly the same home, right? You want to find the exact same house if you can. I know it can be kind of difficult, but so we've got a couple in here. There's a split level. This one is a Rambler, the subject property. So 1,730, you can look inside. This one, we're a 1/2 mile radius right now. This one's got hardwoods. Right, has a little bit of updating, it looks like, fresh paint. Speaking of paint, when the property's got multiple colors in it, and the sellers have been watching HGTV every day for months, and they want to do all these crazy projects, you have to get across to them that is what's called personalization for their property. And when you're trying to sell and appeal to as many buyers as possible, we want to do what's called depersonalize. There's actually 3 Ds, okay? Depersonalize, so that means colors need to be standard, contractor, solid color throughout, a blank canvas, basically. Now, they got 1 accent wall, might be okay, but if every room's a different color, it's not good. It's not good. Buyers have problems visualizing their own items in an area that is too personalized. So you need to get across to them that, hey, you should absolutely we need to paint. We're gonna have to paint contractor colors. You can get a list of, from the paint companies or realistically, you guys should have your own contractors who are all ready to go for these types of things. And you say, hey, I've got someone who can give you a bid, to get this painted, but we're really gonna have to paint. If it is too personalized. Photos, family photos, personal photos, all throughout the house, those all need to come down. When a buyer is in a property that their house is filled with their family photos and everything, it makes them feel like they're invading the space and they're not supposed to be there. And it's hard for them also to connect to the property in the right way too. So that's another thing.
Or they connect on the wrong stuff. Let's say you've got a room of World War II memorabilia. You don't want that because there's a potential that they'll hyper focus on that.
Yeah.
And not lose focus of the room.
Yeah, I went to a property many, many years ago and they were hunters. And they literally had, I'm not even exaggerating, they probably had 30 to 40 animal heads in the whole property. And it was, I said, that unfortunately that all of this is gonna have to come down. It's too personalized.
The one I had was Marysville house. Broker used to work here. We had 200 snakes. She grew snakes in the whole house. It looked like a snake.
Did you say she grew snakes?
I'm not wrong. She had like 200 species. It was ridiculous.
Quite one with tarantulas.
Yeah, no, the thing is she kept the mice in the garage.
Oh, jeez.
So we condensed it all down to one closet. I put a lock on it.
Yeah.
I said, you can't see it, it's indoor.
So there's 200 snakes in this closet. What?
I just see snakes on a plane.
But I never mentioned it.
Yeah, so you're gonna run into these situations where there's unique things and it's just, you can't have it. It just doesn't work. You literally are gonna be pushing buyers, away from it being too personalized. Okay, so that's depersonalized. The next D is declutter. The property has to be completely decluttered. It can't be, things filled up in the room. You need to get everything out. A lot of people will declutter and move things into boxes and, if you're moving, you might as well get it packed up now if it's stuff that's not being used and not fully necessary. But some people get a storage, some people will do, what's the company that will drop off the pods? Yeah, they'll do pods. They can do, all sorts of things like that, or they just box it up, put it into the garage and kind of like just fill up the garage with all of the boxes and stuff. And people understand when you're moving, it's got to go somewhere.
Sometimes it's really sad. I was helping Tim O'Neill with one of his guys when he was out of town. And they just had room after room after room of stuff that was meaningful to them 20 or 30 years ago, but had absolutely no value to anyone but them, and even their family didn't want it.
Yeah, it's the stuff like that. You gotta get through the decluttering. Okay. And then the last D, and this is the tough one to have conversations about with a seller, is defunct. If the property smells bad, you're gonna have to face it up front. Because if you don't, if you like, oh, I don't want to hurt the seller's feelings, you're just basically setting yourself up for failure because you're not having that conversation from the beginning. And maybe it's a pet, maybe it's garbage, maybe it's something, or it's the carpet, or they smoke in the property, whatever it is. If you don't deal it, in the very beginning, you're sabotaging yourself.
Or cooking smells.
Yep, it could be a bunch of different things.
So
yeah. So how, the best way to handle that stuff is just say, I'm sorry, Mrs. Seller, the cat, litter box, we're gonna have to keep that on a very tight, clean schedule. It's something that, it could be, putting off to a lot of buyers. So we need to make sure we've got that handled, or whatever it may be, the item of whatever it is. Bring it up tactfully, as much as much as you can. You're gonna have to do it. All right. Time to start looking at our comps. Ramblers, right? That only gave us 4. We're only at a half-mile radius, so I can stretch this out. Let's get to a mile. All right. And that brought us some more. Okay. 579. So here's definitely one. This is one. We didn't look inside this one, but it's very close. They tried to do a twilight, but it looks a little too dark. So this one's fairly cleaned up. Inside looks good. It's staged. Or that's virtual staging, I think. Didn't it look it?
There's a white shadow.
Oh, maybe. You guys be shocked at some of the virtual staging nowadays.
Do you have to mention it if it's virtually staged here?
You don't, but you should. I think it's a good thing to state that on the listing, virtually staged. Because then when they show up and it's not that way, it does get people there though. I'm not gonna lie. Here's one. Definitely got the, photos, you should not have cars in it. It should not have signs in it. Yeah, this is definitely not HDR photos. This is a broker taking it maybe with their cell phone.
Yeah.
Not good. Look at the garden, everybody.
When I see stuff like that, it really questions, it really puts in my head, how are these people getting these listings? They're not doing a good job.
Well, don't forget that this is this is basically first person there. Like I told you, they probably got there first and they said, okay, they signed it, they got it. You guys just need to, be the first one there too. This one, they're starting out. Oh, they're over by the pond. So this is nice. This one they definitely have updated. But do you see the difference between something that's got personalization and this one's all the same white color throughout? Decluttered, rooms are ready to go. So, shocker, that this one sold fast. Yeah, so this one, 42 days, didn't sell too fast, so 645. Yeah, 1620, 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. This one has a view of the golf course. This one definitely going to be a higher priced one. Yeah. Yeah, not the best photos again. Yeah. Does have some unique features on this one though. Square footage wise, it's very, very good. This one being a split level, so we're not going to do that one, but marking that one. This one looks like a level. Boy, it's got the sunken living rooms and stuff like that. So we've got 5 right now. Old school rule of thumb used to be 3, 3, and 3. 3 active to see your competition, 3 pendings to see the absorption, and then 3 solds for the actual comps. Now, I could probably stretch out a tiny bit to see if we get any more, because I think I'm right under the 1 mile. But we need to drag that out. No, nothing else. Probably all 4 bedrooms is definitely the one that's gonna probably affect it the most. So 1 to 2 We can do 0.25. Or 2.25, sorry, yeah. Yeah, still the same. So not quite as many for the Ramblers either, so, and there's definitely more, probably 3 bedrooms around there. We'll see it in, when I do the BMA. All right. For time's sake, we're going to go ahead and just keep our comps the same. Right. Actually, we'll go 180. Let's see if there's any more at like 225 or 250. Go back to the map, see if that gives us a little more. Nope, still 7. There's not a ton.
1.5 mile radius.
Hmm?
1.5 mile radius.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, when the appraiser did the class, they said that they, like, if they can't find anything, they will go a little bit further.
There's a 42565.
That
That one would probably be a good one. Let's look.
does too.
All right. Yep, there's that one. Oh, here's a different one. Perfect, Rambler. Ah, this one's totally redone. Semi updates, got a nice sunroom. They opened it up. So we're gonna mark that one. There's a 2-story. Oh, it's a split level. That one, another split. There's that same one. And that one. And that one. So got us one more. Okay, we got our comps. First thing I need to do though is turn on my Cloud CMA. So if you're logged into your My Desk, you can click Cloud CMA to start it. All right, turn that off and make sure it's got me. All right, I'm logged into it. Go back to my matrix. Now I can click my Cloud CMA button. Cloud CMA, it'll pull all these comps directly into Cloud CMA. All right, and now I'm going to put in the seller's name. I'll take the name right from here. Oop, it logged me out. That's DELAY. The state of Gerald delay. All right. All right. Okay, and then put in the address. Let Cloud CMA find it. There it is. Found it. Okay, filled it in. Now, sometimes Realist and stuff will say something different, and or the county of this the tax data, it pulls it in differently. It even said in King County it is a two bath. I've seen the property. It is a 2 full bath. 1560, sometimes square footage, right? You got to make sure you've got the source for that. Property subtype is just residential. Okay, advanced info. You can add this if you want. Rambler. Now, here's add the cover photo. We're going to click this. I already sent it to myself for downloads. And here is that thumbnail. It's only 1.22. And you can crop it if you want. A little bit. Right? We're going to use that. Okay, now you've got the photo. Now there's all the listing numbers we've got for our comps. And we're going to fetch the listings. All right. So we got 1 active and 5 solds. On the high, 645. On the low, 510. Median's 542.5. First thing I always do is I select the range or the sort the listings. So, excuse me. And I always go by status, and I go it from active to sold. I want to see exactly what's our competition. Now with Ramblers, obviously there was a couple other properties that are active. You could manually add those if you want to show like what else is available. There's nothing wrong with that. But it just depends on what you're trying to convey to the seller. If you're trying to explain to them that, hey, this house over here, it's our competition. It's a 2-story. They're only asking this much. If you got, if they're still, if they're in la la land for the pricing and they're like, I want 800,000 for this house. Yeah, you're like, I don't see evidence. Tony?
I had a question. So when you manipulated it to 2-bathroom, pardon me, will the algorithm pick it up and compare it to the 2-bedroom in the case of where you weren't actually putting in the listing numbers?
Oh yeah, if you did the quick and dirty, it does and it doesn't. You have to define it in that next step of a drop down.
Okay.
Yeah, if I went back to the
Sorry, I didn't.
yeah, if I go back to criteria right here, and if you want to check this box, if you're ever going to do it this way, you can, but make sure you at least change your square footage and stuff in here. Then it will.
Eric, did you deliberately pick 2 bathrooms as opposed to 1 3/4 plus?
I did a range from 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I did from 1 bath.
But you have to put the change or else it'll just pull it.
It'll pull everything under the sun.
Or it'll pull from what the MLS is actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this case, it's at 1.
A 1.
Because
Oh. Yeah, this one, it pulled it. I don't know why, because even on King County, I swear it said to. Oh, wait. Am I in the details? Oh, nope, wrong one. So sorry. Keep going. Oh, it shows full bath, 1 3/4 bath, but they changed it to both to be two fulls a long time ago. So see, it has different even what the county says, but that one it only said 1.
Yes, yeah, I've noticed that the system automatically sometimes pulls it from whatever data source it is.
Yep, it can definitely do that. All right, so let's go back to listings in the second step. I arranged it. So now I'm doing a value range. By you doing your homework, looking at all the other comps, looking at everything else, we definitely know it's going to be probably in that, and this one needs a lot of work. It was in the middle of a remodel when the person died. So it's unfortunate, but that they have a bunch of other work to do.
So would you use that as a comp?
Which thing?
The one that's half done?
I don't have a comp that's half done.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying the actual subject property
Okay.
is that. So it's like, that's, it's definitely going to be, the lowest one was 510. So I would say this one's a little better than that. So I would do 520. 20,000 and I always do a value range here. I always do a value range no matter what. Because sometimes people get stuck in their head on what the price is, and they're like, if this person doesn't say this price, then we're not going with them, or whatever. All I'm doing is giving a value range of what the comps tell me. Boy, 645, I do not see this property getting to that unless they put a lot more money into it. I already know. So I'm thinking maybe 580, it kind of looks like. Okay. So now it's time to customize the report. Now, I've got my theme already set to the John Scott theme. If this property was luxury, I would switch it to the exceptional homes and do luxury. Each one of these you can roll over and see the preview of what it is. So now you can see there's the front of that photo, the front of that house. You know, there's that photo we took. There's all of that first page. It's got your contact me. So it'll pull all that in. You can put your logo on there. If you have your Zillow email in your profile for your email for Zillow, it will automate and pull in all your past reviews. It's kind of weird because it doesn't quite keep them in fully order. I don't know why it doesn't show like even the newest ones. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Then it shows your map. Okay, from here, now you got your summary of the comparables. Shows right up the middle, like 555 is the average. And now you got the details and the photos for the rest and your comparable statistics. Gives a good breakdown. And then online valuation analysis, which is always good to include as well, because they always bring up Zillow. Well, Zillow says this, and it kind of gives picture of the Zestimate. Zillow cheats. They've actually changed the algorithm to now when you list a property, it will automatically adjust the Zestimate to be within less than 2% of the price. So they cheat. So they changed that a while ago. Redfin does the exact same thing for their AVM. The automated valuation models are all computers making, you know, educated guesses on all of the data that it provides. So it's good to see this. And then one of the best ones is in that suggested list price, because if we did the value range, it will automate and show you based on your actual square footage that's in the system to what it thinks it's going to, you know, potentially sell, or the projected value for the price per square foot comparable, right? So it's showing you here about 541, 563 is all listings, you know, averaged, and 567 is your sold high. So you can see low, medium, high on all of that. Yeah, always do a range. You literally can, you know, be missing out on a listing just because someone else came in later and go, oh, they just said 20 grand more. Well, if you explain to the seller that, hey, if you painted and we did all these things, we probably could get in the higher range, higher value range. So having a range, and if you're doing this in a one step and you've never seen the property, you probably want to do a much wider range, because then you don't know where the house fits in, right? So you can change all these around. They do have the brand new seller guide items in here. They've had trusted advisor, market ready day one. They got some cool little things, and you can add this to the report if you want. All right, showcase your home in the best light to get the best price. Little details matter. Landscaping, roof, paint, doors. Simplify, stage, and clean. Power professional photography. So this is a pretty good one. I'd probably add that in there. It automatically puts it, where did it throw it in? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, did it even add it? That was weird. Seller. Where did it go? Uh-oh.
Oh, it's all the way at the top.
Oh, man. All right, market ready day one. So I would start talking about your, right after you get kind of to the price, then maybe start talking about the marketing and stuff like that. By having a marketing plan in your presentation is going to increase your win ratios 20 to 25%. So you better make sure you have that in there. There is the 5-step marketing plan that you can get to add in here, which is great. Actually, I think we even have the newer one. So if I go down to the custom pages, let's see. Nope, it's not in there. There's a newer one that looks a little bit different, a little bit just basic icons. So whatever one you like better, you can do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and publish this. Once this publishes, we're going to check it out, make sure everything's in there, it's in the right order. View the PDF. That thing's opening slow. All right, fit one page. All right, so now we basically can go through this. Come on here. Turn off. We don't need this. Okay, so now you can scroll through, look at all the pages. How does it look? Here's the averages. We got our comps with inside and outside photos for each comparable. Love that one. Price range. 5-step marketing plan. Market ready plus. Why you need professional, intelligent timing, pricing, features that sell, value of your home. All right, so that's done. Our next step, we actually have to go and add in, I'm gonna copy this address real quick. We're going to jump to our next step, which is going to buy side, because we want to get the BMA in here. So ignore this. This is the manager access view. So I need to switch to my agent view. Okay. Looks like I got 2 new value attempts. So we're going to go to the BMA, put in the address, let it find it. There it is. Select it. And it should be spinning at the top, and it is. Pulls in all the information. Hit next. You could have like 7 different bubbles in here. You got to make sure you select at least 3 and put in the same value range that we did for the PDF. And I thought we had, what was it? 520? 520 to 580. All right. Whoops. And this is whole numbers only. Okay. Put those in and generate the PDF. And now it's going to pull in the public data buyer data, generating the report, and then it's automatically going to download. So we're going to use both the Cloud CMA and our BMA for the buyer market analysis. And we're going to print these on a nice flyer paper, and you're going to print front and back. And you're going to utilize and get the unibinds. We need to make sure that you're putting this into the unibind so that when you bring this back, now you've got a complete presentation that's way more professional than probably 90% of your competition. And probably less than probably a third would have anything remotely close to this. And anybody talking about the buyer market analysis, I'm gonna have to stop share and share again so you guys can see this one. All right, we're gonna share. Let you see the PDF for this. There we go. That. Okay, so now you can see here is the BMA, pulls up the address. Your branding automatically goes in there, has information about company, about how you're going to provide representation, negotiation, expertise, and transactional excellence. Okay, real-time valuations using public data. And now here is a range. You see how even these ones show ranges. Okay, my suggested value range. It falls literally almost in there. Oh, this one's actually a little bit lower. And now here's the buyer heat map to show in the last 90 days on how active this little area is. Okay, and it's up there towards the very active. It's not quite into the dark red. But here's the online activity in the last 90 days for people looking within a 5-mile radius of the home's price range, looking for up to a 4-bedroom home. So you can see that, you went from 82,622,442 all the way down to 44,354 in the last 90 days within a 5-mile radius of this seller's home. Most people, oh, look at that, are looking for a 4-bedroom, 48%. So it's actually very good that our subject property has 4 beds. And then 29% is 3-bed. And it tells you the highest kind of percentage by value range of what most homes are in this area. Okay. Which is awesome to see that we're right in there. And there are 29 matched buyers in John L. Scott footprint of buyers who have property tracker searches. Now, some of these are like crazy ranges. All that means is that they've been hopping around looking at multiple properties on the map or in searches without actually defining it. That's why it can go from a low amount to a super duper high amount. So now we're going to print both of these items, and we're going to print front and back on the nice paper. If you need help, get with staff. They can help you do this to make sure you're doing it correctly. You don't want to do the regular paper. It doesn't feel right in the book. This stuff is kind of shiny and soft, right? Regular paper is a lot rougher and it's thinner and it's not as polished. It doesn't look as clean. So both of these you will want to print up. Do you guys have questions right now? Anybody for any of those process of those items? Oops. All right, let me jump over to the next section. All right, so you've got your complete CMA done, it's time now to get in front of the seller to go present. And I think I accidentally closed my buyer guide. That's okay, we'll get back in there quick. John Scott Library real quick. Go to your marketing. And go down to buyer presentation. And we have where is the one? So they moved all the old ones into previous buyer guide. All the new ones are in here. Here's the PowerPoint version. So if you wanted to do this, you can actually present on your iPad. They do have Spanish version as well. So it's been updated. Keynote, if you use an iPad, you can put Keynote and put this on an iPad. Oops. And why am I hitting buyer guide when we need seller guide? You didn't say anything.
I was thinking about it, just like, oh.
I was thinking like, oh,
Uh-huh.
to like show them like what we're gonna present to the buyers or something.
Yeah, no. Let me go back. My bad.
But did you say the last D was this depersonalized declutter was last one?
Defunct. Yep. Back to John Scott Library. Where is seller? Oh, listing presentation. Why do they call it that instead of seller guide? All right, new home seller guide resources. And then this is where they've got PowerPoint, Keynote, Canva seller guide. So there's a Canva version too that you can update with your different branding. If you're doing a team, you can also customize that. It's really, really nice. Yeah, just for the class sake, I can do this one. So seller guide. So now you're going back to the property. Okay. And now you can go through, start presenting to the seller. How you're the trusted advisor. Selling your home can be complicated and overwhelming. We provide you with peace of mind through our extensive knowledge of the market, showing your home in the best light, transactional excellence, negotiation, expertise, and being your advocate throughout the entire process. So here is a breakdown of those steps to get your home sold. Identifying your priorities. You literally are going to be using the guide when you present to keep you on target, to make sure you don't skip anything. Because that's something I know that a lot of brokers struggle with. Like, what do I say in front of a seller? This is your your full talking points reminder. So we need to make sure the property's completely ready to go, market ready day one, right? So that's landscaping, roof, paint, doors, windows, HVAC, home appliances, lighting, flooring, kitchen, bathroom. Simplify, stage, and clean. So reduce your market time and maximize your price by completely having the property stage one or completely ready, market ready day one. How you're going to hire a professional photographer, your comprehensive marketing strategy. 19% buyers found the home, through signage and neighborhood network. We're going to be doing this as well. 29% broker introduced, where buyers first found the home they purchased. So you're going to use this to present to the seller. There's a very good new strategy that we're introducing, and it's how to steal Redfin's and Zillow's traffic. If you want to steal their traffic, this is what you do. You go ahead when the property is, when you get the property input into Matrix as an incomplete listing, you're going to pre-schedule all of your open houses. You try to list on either Thursday or Friday. And when that property goes live on that first day, we usually do it in the afternoon on Thursday, like closer to like 11:30 a.m. is actually probably your golden hour to get it done because people start looking at lunchtime on their phones and on their apps for new listings. Well, your open house, all your open houses are pre-scheduled. So you got Thursday, you got it scheduled for that same day. And maybe you're going to hold it open from like 4 to 7. Invite the neighbors, do your normal, completely, activate the neighbors process. Then you are going to have that open house. And what happens when why do people go to Redfin anyway? What?
Easy.
It's easy. It's convenient. They immediately can go to the house and go see this house, schedule a showing. But what do people do when they see it's already open? Because the open house goes up above that on their view.
They don't want to schedule it.
They don't have to schedule it. It's even more convenient than scheduling because it's already open. So you have these open houses pre-scheduled for the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, and you get 4 open houses in a row. Now you just beat Redfin and Zillow because you made it easy and convenient. The houses are already scheduled. There's no need to go to them. So you can actually get a lot more traffic and leads for yourself rather than giving those away. Because I know a lot of brokers will schedule it Thursday or Friday, but they don't do the open house until Saturday or Sunday. So you really can get back a bunch of your own leads this way. All right. So here is the full presentation. You're going to go through this whole thing. And then it's time to sign. Present that paperwork with the seller. And now you are ready to go. If you're going to print, let's see, from here, you can hit the printer. Let's see if you guys can see this in Zoom. I'm not sure if it's showing my settings. Can you guys see that in Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, good. So from here, you're gonna go to the right printer. You need to, go to make sure that you need to go to all settings and use this print using system. This one you might not see because that might change the window. So from here, we need all of the full settings. Yeah, and this one isn't even the right one anyway. It doesn't have I don't have the right color printer set to this one. In fact, I don't even think this is a connected printer anymore. But basically, you have to choose the bypass tray and make sure it's color and it's printed on both sides. And then on that nice flyer paper. Get help from McKenna and Kayla, and they can help you with this print job. And then it's time to actually get your Unibind cover. So get these from also from staff, and then get that. And then you're going to get the print pages, and then it's time to go make this on the actual Unibind machine. I was going to go through and show everyone how to do this. You already know how to do this. Do you know how to do this?
It's okay another day.
Okay, but you don't know how to do it yourself. Okay, well, we'll end up showing after this. And sorry, Zoom people, that's one of the benefits of showing up in person. But you will go ahead and Unibind this, and now you are ready to go. To bring everything, take your black box, have your presentation, have everything ready to go, have your kit, and now you're showing up to the seller completely dialed in and ready.
What's your little bit?
Yeah, we're just.
Oh, yeah. So these are really old. I don't even think you can't even buy these anymore, but we used to have Amazon gift cards and a Starbucks, John L. Scott Starbucks gift card. So these have, cup of coffee for the sellers, and, you can offer that from the beginning and say, thank you, Mrs. Seller, for allowing me to come and do a listing presentation for you. I got you a cup of coffee because I know sometimes this can be daunting.
Yeah.
So they're pretty cool to do that, huh?
Yeah. It's like super.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, when you give a little gift like that. So you can find different things on Amazon to make your own to still do that. I know a broker that still does this to this day. and they bought, each of those cards have like $5 or $10 on each one.
I read chocolates for my Christmas.
Chocolates,
presentation.
that's great.
Yeah, she messaged me saying thank you. I said I thank you for having me. He was like, oh, thanks so much for coming. She even sent like a vocal, like an audio message.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, thank you so much for the chocolates and for coming.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, anything you can do to be a difference maker, you want to do. It's just gonna set you apart from anybody else. If anyone else goes to that listing, they didn't send chocolates to the seller, or they didn't do anything else. So, yeah, it is a difference maker, and that's what you're constantly doing. Even when you don't think there's competition, tell yourself there is competition, and you will perform better. And another thing I will say before we end, and don't forget this, is that even when you think you've already won the listing, you need to make sure that you are performing to your best capabilities and show up ready, right? Do your full presentation, do everything, do it right, and you get better every time. And then next time that you're presenting with someone else and you are in big competition, you're gonna do better. You're just gonna get better and better and better. But don't go into a place and you're like, oh, I already got the listing, I'm not gonna actually go through my whole presentation and do that. That's a huge mistake. It will bite you one day, I promise. I guarantee that there's gonna be times where you think you've already got it, you want it, no need to do my full presentation, no need to do my full complete consultation like I normally would. So don't make that mistake, you guys. Definitely need to make sure that you're doing everything right. All right. Thank you guys for making it today. I know it's a little bit long. Any last questions before we wrap up?
Yes, show me exactly what you included to the thought CMA. I did.
I'll help you do that one. Yeah, I'll help you set that one up later. Anything else? Any Zoom people? All right. Well, thank you guys for making it. We will see you on the next one. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.